and presentation to you. Just a few housekeeping events before we start. For any questions, please use the Q&A, and just to note that any verbal speak will be broadcast. So we're here today just to talk about the UCAS and SAS application process for all pupils here at Fraserburgh Academy, and we just wanted to share some important information with you. So first of all, I'm going to move on to say, what is UCAS? So UCAS stands for University and College Application System. All learners applying for university must apply to the UCAS system, and UCAS is an online system and therefore can be accessed from school and from home. All pupils will have information about this. We'll share it with them in PSE lessons and also through Aspire North, which will give you some more details about that as we progress throughout the evening. So what is included in the online application? So throughout this process, we will actually work with pupils, and they will be required to supply UCAS with the following information that you can see on our screen. So it's things like their personal information, additional information, things like their parental occupation. There's also a section on there for student finance, which again we'll cover a little bit further down the line in tonight's presentation. Different choices, what universities they'd like to go to, whether it's just one or we would recommend more than one. Obviously, they're going to put their educational grades and achievements into the application form, as well as any kind of part-time employment. And a big kind of portion of the application is their personal statement. So that's something that we will work with our pupils in PSE lessons, just providing them with some guidance on how to do that. And we also have Aspire North, which is an additional support that is available for our pupils to help them with their personal statements. As part of the online application, we also have a reference which is written by the guidance teacher, by ourselves, and that's accompanied by the information that we receive from pupils' actual class teachers. And then the final part of the application is a payment. But again, that is something that this is just an outline for you as parents to be aware of what information is needed. However, we will, as guidance teachers, be working with pupils in PSE to keep them on the right track in terms of the online application and what's required. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take you through a timeline of events in terms of what we expect from our pupils and support from yourselves in getting that application pulled together and actually sent to UCAS. So I'm going to pass you over to Mrs. Washington, and she will take you through the timeline.
Hello. In order to make the UCAS process run as smoothly as possible, as a team we've come up with a timeline of events with dates setting out when both the pupils need to complete their parts and for when we as guidance teachers need to complete our sections of the application as well. We've already started doing a little bit of work on this in PSE, started looking at personal statements, and a lot of the pupils have started looking at the UCAS website. The pupils can actually start registering UCAS now, and the buzzword that they need to join the Fraserburgh Academy UCAS applications is available for the pupils through their senior teams, or if they ask their guidance teacher during the PSE lessons. So the process starts now in August and it goes right through to October, and then it then goes through October into November and then up into December. The actual deadline for UCAS is January. However, to ensure that the pupils have the best opportunities, because a lot of universities do start giving out the offers before this time, and to make sure they've got the best opportunities, we like to have our students completed their UCAS applications by the end of term at Christmas. This just ensures that we can do a proper and thorough quality assurance process of each application to ensure that everything's put in place and there's no mistakes on it. So that's why we like to have it done and dusted well before the deadline for the pupils. The next stage of the presentation was going to outline what the applicants need to do. So here's just a quick snapshot of what our students need to do in order to complete their application. So it'd be a really good idea if they can to attend the virtual open days and then start looking at UCAS, thinking about the courses that they actually want to apply for. They then need to write their personal statement. And another really important part is obtaining references from the teachers, and then ensure that they've got regular contact with us, their guidance teachers, about their application. We'll need to see the pupils quite regularly about this. As part of the process as well, they need to fill out the online applications, which, as I said before, they can start. And then they need to pay for the online application and send it away. On this next slide, you'll see what our role as guidance teachers are. So what we do is we meet with our pupils quite often, mostly during PSE, to support them with the application process. We can offer them advice on courses and the different universities. And then we also direct our pupils to the careers service in school for further advice. We help them and support them with the personal statement, and the biggest part for us to do is to write the reference for the students. And finally, and very importantly, this is what you as parents and carers can do to support the young people with their application. So, just support them to ensure that their deadlines are met, speak to young people, advise them about their course and university choices, and feel free to contact the school to speak to any of us at any point if you've got any queries or concerns. I'm now going to hand over to Miss Douglas. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm going to talk through open days and really how do these work in the new normal for our young people. So open days this session, the vast majority of university open days have moved online. So this makes things slightly more difficult to get a true feel for university and its location and what the campus feels like. But online open days are definitely easier to attend. We certainly don't have to travel down to the central belt when you can just click a button. Universities will advertise their open days on their websites. However, on the next few slides, you'll find a handy directory. So we've started off with University of Aberdeen and Robert Gordon University. These are the ones, to be honest, that our young people are most keen on often because they like to stay a wee bit close at home, I think. And there's links on these which you'll be able to access through the PowerPoints to have a wee look-see when the different days are and when the young people will be able to access those. Then moving down Scotland, we have University of Dundee and Aberdeen University. And all the universities obviously are offering similar and yet quite different courses. So it is really important to kind of investigate all the different ones available. And then down to the central belt, we have over the west, we have University of Strathclyde and University of Glasgow. And then over the east, we have University of Edinburgh, Queen Margaret University. And also in the middle there, we have University of Stirling and the University of St Andrews. All of these institutions will offer quite different things, but it's all really important to learn how they work as a university. On our final page for University Open Days, we have the University of the Highlands and Islands, which has more than one campus, so that's quite an interesting one to look at, and Napier University, which is in Edinburgh. I'm going to hand over now to Ms. Tila, who is going to have a wee chat to you about personal statements.
Hi everyone. So for personal statements, we work quite closely with the students in PSE on their personal statement as well, but there is a link here to a video in the PowerPoint that will take them through the best way to structure their personal statement, do's and don'ts about personal statement, how to get excited about the course, how to make sure that they put it on paper that they're excited about the course, and to add a personal touch, and also to give them some tips on what to avoid when writing a personal statement. And that link can be found on this slide here in the PowerPoint. Next, we've just got some useful links for the students to use for their personal statement as well. So these are just some links here, again, included in the PowerPoint to help them build their personal statement and to help them get as much help with putting their personal statement together as possible on top of our help in PSE. So for personal statements, there's plenty of help for them there. And I'm going to pass on to Mrs. Gardner, who is going to carry on.
Hello. So frequently asked questions that we get are, how can I get help with my personal statement? Your guidance teacher is the best port of call here. We've got years of experience in looking at personal statements for a multitude of different courses, ranging from medicine to engineering to nursing. So attend your PSE lesson every week. Encourage your child to attend their PSE every week to make sure that we can have that time with them to discuss not only just their personal statements, but their whole application, different universities, and kind of work out what's right for them. I'm sure you'll be having the same conversations at home. They can also, I mean, some of our learners attend NESCOL, for example, so they might not have PSE on their timetable, in which case that's absolutely fine. They can make separate appointments with us, and one of the benefits of COVID is we've moved towards the digital era, so they can also contact us through Teams or email as well. When they send us a personal statement to us, it'll probably be a back and forward kind of thing, a couple of drafts, just giving them some advice on that. You've also got Aspire North as well, they can help out. How can I find out information about courses? So visit the university websites, visit their open days. So don't only consider the course, consider where they'll be staying for 3 to 4 years, perhaps even longer, depending what they're studying. Do they like the area? Is the area going to work for them? What's the social aspect of it about as well? Look at their websites. It'll give you an overview of the courses. It'll show you the entry requirements, the modules that they'll study each year as well. If they're practical based kind of kids, how much of their course is going to be based on that kind of aspect of it. And how much does the application cost? So the application costs £26 to apply for multiple courses. So you can apply for up to 5 courses. There is an option to only go for 1, which is a bit cheaper, but we wouldn't advise that. That's putting all your eggs in one basket. You're best to go for 5. You might have your heart set on 1, but it's always good to have a backup set in there. So further advice for parents, the UCAS website has a dedicated section for parents. Just search for UCAS parents and you'll be taken straight to it. There's great information there, or feel free to contact any of your child's guidance teachers. We're more than happy to discuss the application process further if you'd like that, or kind of discuss certain courses with your child. So our email addresses are on the slide there. You can also contact Skills Development Scotland as well if you want to look at kind of the career prospects following on from those courses. And the expectations that we put on applicants is that all the deadlines must be met. They are a senior learner, so we put it on them. We are here to support them though. We don't just leave them to it, but the responsibility is on them. Pupils are responsible for sending out their own reference sheets to their teachers, and they are invaluable in allowing us to write detailed and adequate references for them that's tailored to them. The references that we write are just about as long as their personal statements, and we pore over them. So the information we get from their class teachers is invaluable. And PSE, they have to attend PSE if it's on their timetable. It just gives them that time each week to get a bit of one-to-one time with us, so we can look at the application process with them all the way up to December. Okay, so I'm going to pass on to my colleague Mary, who will describe Aspire North.
So as well as your guidance teachers, your pupils' guidance teachers, we've actually got an organisation that we're working with, which is Aspire North. So this is a real advantage that we have here. So Aspire North is an independent organisation, and they're going to be working with pupils and ourselves to ensure that all pupils get support with their personal statement. Now, this is voluntary. It's not something that pupils have to take up. It is a voluntary service, but we do recommend that it's something worthwhile doing because they can offer one-to-one interviews to assist with personal statement writing and the UCAS application process. They can offer application clinics, individual assistance with applicants for university. They also offer further information about SAS. Again, we're going to give you some information about that in the next slides that are coming up. They'll also offer study tips for university, how to take notes when your child gets to university. And along with that, they'll also cover things like life skills. So looking at anything from cooking to budgeting, health and well-being, where to go for support when your children go off to university, because that can be quite daunting at times as well. So as I said, it's not like an organisation that we say, look, your child has to use this organisation, but we're saying it is an extra support in addition to the guidance teacher, and they will quite happily look at personal statements as well. So we're quite lucky to have this organisation on board with us at this moment in time. So please encourage your children to actually, take that up too. So next, I'm going to move on to SAS, I believe. So I'm going to move on to my colleague, which is Mrs. Barron.
So SAS stands for Student Awards Agency Scotland. Learners need to apply to SAS to have their fees paid. So in Scotland, fees are covered for undergraduate degrees. Students also apply to SAS for student loans and for bursaries. If a learner meets certain criteria, then they'll be eligible for additional financial support, which is always really useful to know. SAS is applied for generally after offers have come in. Now this PowerPoint will be published after this presentation tonight. So on the PowerPoint there's a link to a really useful video about SAS. So you'll find out some more information through that. I'm just going to pass back to Mrs. Cook, who's going to round us off.
So just want to say thank you for everybody for tuning in this evening. It has been quite a whistle stop and it's been quite a quick presentation, but this information will be published, as Mrs. Barron said, and it will be available to yourself and your child so that you can actually click on the links in the presentation and follow the information on there. There's a couple of videos and there's also some information for parents on there too. And I guess we just want to round off by saying thank you so much and good luck with your application. And if you have any questions, we're quite happy to take them just now. So we'll just check in on the chat to see if there is any questions there.
There was just a question asking if the PowerPoint will be published after the session, but it will be.
I think we've covered that one. Yeah, thanks, Mrs. Washington.
But I'll just do we refresh?
Anything from anybody else?
Not any at the moment.
From an admin point of view, ladies and gentlemen, I would say that the school YouTube website will have an upload of this.
Then by saying thank you so much. If you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact your child's guidance teacher, and we'll be quite happy to put you in the right direction or give you any support or answer any questions that we can to support you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.